Hello everyone and welcome to week 9 of our gun dog challenges and tutorials on different aspects of gun dog training. I've had a few requests to talk about how I start a young dog off or a puppy off with its training, and before I give you some demonstrations on how I get the puppy retrieving, I wanted just to talk a little bit more about equipment that we started on talking last time, but just want to really give you a bit of an idea of what I use to start off with. So first and foremost, the first thing we do need to do is going to be doing some heel work, and that for me is not about being controlling or clever about getting your dog to walk to heel. It's more about safety. So for example, if we're going up towards a road or if we're going anywhere that there's potentially a hazard, you want to be able to get your puppy on a lead or your young dog on a lead and to be able to walk safely with it, so the puppy's not shooting in front of you, that it could possibly be a trip hazard, or stepping behind you if you move backwards and tripping over the puppy. So heel work is about safety. Originally obviously for the field for gun safety, so if you're right-handed like I am, you would have your dog on the left-hand side. But same thing applies if you're going to walk along a road. The last thing you need is your dog pulling ahead in front of you where it could just dash across the road and either cause an accident or get killed itself. So it's really important to have good heel work, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But to start off with, what I do for heel work for my very young puppies is I start off with what I call a fixed collar, so just a little collar like this, just a little puppy collar, and then I have a clip lead that I attach to it. And to start off with, I'm actually not going to hold this at all, the lead. I'm actually just going to let the puppy walk around a smooth floor surface or something like the garden here and the lawn, where he can feel some tension and maybe even step on the lead himself sometimes. And that's what life's about. When he's an older dog and he needs to get through some cover, he's got to learn to push through resistance. So just learning that actually sometimes there's things on his neck and sometimes there's a bit of uncomfortableness, that is all part of the learning process. So I will do my heel work training just letting the puppy have this dangling literally alongside him, so that he doesn't feel tension on the lead, but he also gets used to the sensation and feel of a collar. Our working dogs don't wear collars for safety's sake because of things like jumping or water where they could get caught up and hooked up, and they wouldn't get out of it and it could cause a nasty accident. But for puppies they always do have a collar because we need it for safety's sake. So then going on to when we're doing some retrieving work, I might use something like this, which is a little training collar. So it's still the process of a slip lead, which is an opening and shutting. If you put it on correctly, it will open and shut. And then, but this has got like a little handle that you hold. I've got a similar one here, similar sort of process. And I could put a bit of rope on that if I wanted to, the exact same concept. And then what I ask all my clients to buy when they're coming for heel work training is something like this, which is a cotton rope slip lead. It's quite thick, it's very soft, and this is good for your hands. Nylon is not good. If the puppy jerks away, it can burn your hands. It's not great on the puppy's neck either. And to start off with, we'll actually tie it so that it's not a slip lead. It actually becomes like the same as this collar here. It's a fixed lead. Okay, so now we're going to go and explain to you a little bit about how I start my dog off on heel work. I showed you earlier the different collars and leads. I've just chosen this blue one and I've tied it up so it's not a slip lead per se, it's like a static collar, and I've tied it up so that he won't pull any tighter on his neck than it is. So the lead really is a guide. It's not there for me to use as correction, it's a guide. So it's a bit like having a safety net, that if he's shot off I have still got control. Because actually what I do when I start off my young dogs is just drop it and I have it on the floor. Make sure you're not treading on yourself, but he might tread on it and he's going to have to get used to some things tugging at him from being a young dog right up through his working life. Virgil has been clicker trained, so he understands the concept of what the clicker and the treats are about. I have treats in this pocket next to him. What I don't want him to do is swing round to get treats in front of me, so I have the treat. And what I do, key point, is when I put the treat in my dog's view, I'm going to use it like a lure. So this is like, follow the treat and you will get it. As you can see, when he's in the right place, I click and I just give him the treat. Now, what I do for the right position is I'm going to lure him round and I'm going to focus my hand right here. As you can see, he's trying to get it. But my hand is almost just at the back of my thigh, because I want to encourage him to think this is the golden spot. This is where all the good stuff happens. This is where the food happens. What I'm waiting for is just for his nose to come off my hand then, because he's trying to what we call mug me. So I'm going to do that again. Just going to have my hand right by my leg. As long as he's not touching it, he can have the treat. So I'm just going to show you now. So he's going to follow this hand. So to start off with, my hand is basically anchored down by my leg, and he's just going to follow it. So as long as he's in the right place and he's not mugging me, I'm going to give him a clip and a treat. So same thing, hand goes in the right place. The key about putting your hand down on your thigh is that he can't push my hand forward. So if I had my hand just out here, if I show you, if I had my hand just out here in the thin air, you can see it quite easily, he could just push my hand forward. But if I anchor my hand against my leg, he hasn't got the opportunity to push my hand forward. So it means I keep him in the same place. So once he's been doing this, because often you can see he's just dragging the lead around quite happily. Virgil's done this for many months as a puppy, and if he's in the right place, I can check, see if he's in the right place. I'm going to give him a treat. So I've now got my hand in my pocket. So we've gone through the basics of, right, you need to be next to my leg. So now my hand's in my pocket. So he can't mug me, but I want to see him check, see if he's in the right place. Yeah, click, and he gets the treat. So to start off with a young dog, you want to encourage them to do this work. So you're going to give them quite a lot of treats and clicks. But as they get used to this and older, you can gather up your lead and have it in your right hand. So this is just your safety net. You don't need to drag that any longer. Heel. Good boy. And I'm just clicking him to get him back in the right place. Then I might use several clicks, maybe only one treat. So the clicks are to say, correct, you're in the right place. And the treat is like the endorsement of that. So the treat is his reward, rather than I'm going to give him lots and lots of treats all the time when he's understanding where he's going to come from. So the other thing you can do, obviously, in a secure place, in a garden's ideal, we can start this exercise even without the lead on. You don't need to have the lead at all, but I have to train my dogs on leads because here we have farm traffic going past the driveway to our house, and I have to have a dog on a lead to take them out for a walk here. I can't just let them run. I don't have that luxury, sadly. So my dogs have to learn to go on a lead very early on in their start in their career. But the same principle, I'm going to have my lure, get my dog in the right place, click and treat. So exact same thing. And you can do this obviously with a little puppy. You're going to be down here. There's nothing to stop him from following that treat and clicking when he's obviously in the right place. So puppies love this. They're getting fed while walking around with you. And it's great if you can teach your dog to clicker train. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there to show you how to start your dog off on clicker training. But it's a really simple process, and they absolutely love that kind of training. It's a very positive way. You haven't heard me tell him off yet to say he's in the wrong position. What I generally do is I let the dog correct themselves. And when they do correct themselves, you going to correct yourself? No. I'm going to click and just say that's where I want you to be. So he just swung around in front of me to say treat please, and all I'm saying is no, you're going to move you back into the right position. So just for me at the moment he's gone too far out, so I'm just going to walk on, click and correct him. Inclined to swing his butt out sometimes, so I'm just going to stand here. Good boy. He's just dropped back. Good boy. And click and correct him just there. The other thing that's very useful, you can see I've got a fence here. I can walk my dog up and down this fence line so that he is in the middle between me and the fence, and that will also help keep him straight. So using your house, side of your house, a pathway, if you've got a side tunnel, for example, that's really useful as well. Somewhere that you can walk your dog and keep it straight. He can see that he wouldn't be able to get away from you or your heel, and you can then get the dog nice and tight in. And that's the basics of starting our heel work.